Hello everyone, it's Tess and today is tip 242 and I just figured here in the US we just passed Labor Day weekend, so we're getting into the season of colds and flu, and I know a lot of people are saying we didn't have flu last year. Well, we weren't exposed to each other last year, so this year I thought I'm just going to give myself a little refresher of the things to do just to keep myself at my tip top during this season, so that if I am out and about, that I don't end up getting sick. Good morning, Upendra. Good to see you. And if anyone else is up there, good morning. I just don't see you yet. So I thought I would kind of do a refresher on what they say are the helpful hints to staying healthy. And in this particular article, it was called Flu Season, Tips for Staying Healthy No Matter the Weather. So we know that our friends down under in Australia are actually entering the spring, but we're entering the fall. And I thought just a quick reminder, it's a lot of what they're telling us about we've all been doing for this past year and a half. But a general reminder, never hurt anything. And there were a couple of things they're just good reminders. One thing I never do that I have been told to do, and that's wearing a hat. But what it kind of basically said is that when the season changes and weather conditions grow colder, the risks to one's health also rise. And they said the risks can be greater in older adults, and we all know that. And it says one of the greatest causes of illness for older adults is falling. So we do know that that's kind of an issue with a lot of older adults. But what it also kind of started talking about is that heart attacks and hypothermia are also issues, and that the tips for staying healthy are a lot of the things that Doc V has told us about. And those tips, I'm watching my other computer too, it's popping up. Those tips include the things that are part of our fundamentals for our health challenge. And our health challenge, we know eating healthy is kind of one of our top things, and making sure that our diet includes vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And for those of us in the Doc V challenge, we know that if we follow a diet that he recommends, he encourages us to eat a green smoothie every day. Well, good morning, Dolly. Good to see you. He encourages us to eat a green smoothie and a big salad every day. And for any of us that follow, the reason he says that is that it gives us a variety of vitamins and nutrients in the natural way. So healthy eating, and that's part of our fundamentals. Because I think why I started thinking about this is, one, we passed Labor Day in the US, and two, Doc V was talking about staying healthy, because that's going to help us as more people are getting COVID, even whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated. I don't want to get into like those arguments, but staying healthy will help you no matter what you face, whether it's a flu because you're out in the public and you're around people more and you happen to contact it, or whether it's COVID. If your body's healthier, your opportunities to come through it easier are better. So the reminder, like from Doc V, has always been our green smoothie has some greens in it. It can have fruits in it, or you can make it more of like a V8 type of thing, which is like natural fruits and vegetables. Just something so that your body gets an influx of vitamins and nutrients the natural way. And then the green salad is just an additional bonus to doing that. And we do know that if you do a wide variety of colors, that gives you a wide variety of vitamin and nutrients. Based on some reading I did before, the color of the fruits and vegetables kind of gives you a clue that there's different vitamins and nutrients in it. It does say that when we're eating, we do want to get, our diet should include vitamins and minerals that boost immunity and help prevent colds, flu, and respiratory infections. And those are fruits and vegetables around vitamin C and omega-3 fatty acids. So we know vitamin C is like our citrus type fruits and fruits, and omega-3s are generally fish. And then we also know vitamin D in the northern climates where you have dark time, that's the sun, because we don't have as much sun. So vitamin D tends, I know a lot of people in the north tend to have vitamin D deficiency. The other thing they talk about to try to stay healthy is rest. So we all know that rest is important. And then we've all heard this for the past couple of years, keep your hands clean, because if you're out and about and you're shaking hands or picking up items other people had, you're going to be able to be in more contact or more easily available to, say, flus or even COVID. They also talk about, and this is probably includes one area that I'm not really good about, is if you're going outside a lot, drastic changes to your temperature can mess with your immunities a little bit. And they do say that, like in really cold weather, you should wear some form of head covering. And I am bad about that. And I have been yelled at that often throughout the year, so maybe I should think about it. But they just also mention, and again, this is a personal thing for each individual. I know working in healthcare systems, it was a condition of employment. But if you get a flu shot, that can be a preventative step for those who are at the greatest risk of illness: older adults, pregnant women, and respiratory problems, chronic health problems. Again, I'm not looking to get into a debate. I'm just sharing what the article says. And from my experience, I did work in an environment which was healthcare, and they did require it as a condition of employment. My employment offer letter actually had it stipulated that it was a condition of employment. But that was flu shot, and not anything for what's going on currently. It does say when a person, and these are, I'm going to share an old wives' tale. It does say when a person falls sick, few remedies help, but there is some truth to some of the old wives' tales. And what they were saying is, like, the feed a cold, starve a fever. They agree with feed a cold, they disagree with starve a fever. The reason being is that when you're sick, your body needs vitamins and nutrients. So starving and not feeding your body will just reduce its chances to overcome any illness that you hit. I will say, I'll share this just because it's a cute story. As a child, I had many, many, many ear infections. I mean, I had a period of time where I had 2 years of ear infections. This was before they had those tubes they were putting in. And the old wives' tale my grandmother used to do is they would take a piece of wax paper, a warm washcloth, put it on my head, and then they would put a hunting sock and pin it to my head, because something about the moisture reduced the pain. But years later, the doctor told us that just actually probably increased me having the 2 years of ear infections, because we know that moisture is not a good thing for that type of an infection. Good morning, Nancy. Good to see you. But I just thought that was funny. And it was all done with the greatest of intentions, but it was an old wives' tale. And I would never hold a grudge against that, because it was truly trying to do the best for me at that time. But it was funny because I had an ear infection for almost 2 years. No hearing, very, very slight hearing loss, so I was very lucky through that. But they do say that idea of feed a cold, we should feed a fever too, because our body is going to need additional nutrients to push us forward. And again, you're going to want to do that with vitamins and nutrients. So maybe eating more real foods, more items like that will be helpful. It also talks about staying hydrated, which is kind of why chicken soup is something people go to. There's a lot of broth in chicken soup, so drinking broths or chicken soup helps to keep you hydrated, which is also necessary when you're struggling with something. So these were just kind of the pointers, and I just thought I'd remind myself, because we didn't really have a flu season last year since we weren't out and about. And one of the biggest reasons why we end up passing the flu around is that we're exposed to others. And I know there's a lot of people back in work or back in school. And since we are, tinnitus is out of this world for me. You know, my mom talks about tinnitus too, and I know she's tried different remedies for it. I'm not sure. That's actually something to look into. I'm not exactly sure what helps that, but I know she gets vertigo too. I've only had vertigo once, but those are rough things, and that ringing in the ear it's not a pleasant thing. And maybe hopefully if you can keep yourself hydrated and vitamins and nutrients and whatever follow-up care your doctors have, hopefully they can help reduce the symptoms, because I know that is something that really does plague my mom sometimes. So I hope that these pointers are helpful. I just figured for me, a casual reminder, since we are out and about more and some people are back to work and kids are back to school, we're going to be more exposed to the flu. Last year, it almost seemed like it didn't exist. Well, it didn't exist because we weren't out in the world. This year, we're going to be back out in the world. So those little pointers, staying hydrated, chicken soup works because it's broth, and broth gives us the hydration. And then Doc V's method of green smoothies and big salads every single day helps us to keep a variety of vitamins and nutrients so that we have the tools to fight any kind of illness that comes to us. And remembering that vitamin C is a good one, which comes from a lot of citrus fruits. Maybe that's why those come into season during the middle of winter. You know, like January, February are big seasons for our citrus stuff here. So maybe it does coincide with the winter season. Mother Nature and God putting it together in a way that gives us the tools that we need. Hand washing, vitamin D in the winter for those of us that are in the climates that don't have a lot of sunlight. So these are just kind of some things to keep in mind, because we really weren't out in the world last year to connect with this. And it was just kind of a gentle reminder for me. And I am notorious for running out to grab mail or something without a coat on if it's ice cold. So maybe I'll have to remember that those extreme changes of temperature aren't always good. Remember that chicken soup is a great tool to hydrate, and that green smoothie the doc talks about and that big salad is a great tool because you can mix the colors and get a wide variety of vitamins and nutrients. Sleep was the other thing they talked about, getting a regular amount of sleep so that your body can take those sleep cycles for rebuilding and healing is always a great tool. So I hope you guys found something useful. I don't want anyone to get sick, whether it's the flu or the cold, but I know since we're all out there, there's more opportunities than there have been in the past. So if you can take just a couple little precautions, maybe you can just make this season easier on you and easier on your body. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And as Doc V says, this is Friday, so let's slingshot into the weekend and make it memorable. Thank you and have a beautiful day.